Hey there, everybody, and thanks so much for joining us here on KXAN Live. I'm Will DuPree in the KXAN Live studio, coming to you from a very sunny and warm day here in Austin. It is kind of hard to believe that this evening will be the first official day of fall, ringing in that new season. Doesn't feel a whole lot different out there than what we've experienced the last few months. So we wanted to bring in meteorologist Nick Bannin with an update on this kind of expected forecast with the temperatures out there. No big changes for today.
Right. You know, a little less than 2 years ago, I moved here from New England, where the leaves are already changing. People are already sort of getting used to at least the cold nights before the days cool off. But it might be a while before we start to feel those types of temperatures here in central Texas. Let's give you a snapshot of just where the temperatures are right now. And most of us are in the low 80s. And of course, this doesn't even account for the 11 o'clock temperature update here that'll come out within just a few minutes' time, where many spots will be in the mid-80s, if not warmer. So we're well on our way to a hot day here in central Texas here today. Let me show you where the temperatures go as we climb through the morning, through the middle of the day. Low 90s, we think, for most of us by noon. And then the temperatures keep climbing. Low 100s for some of our hottest spots here this afternoon. We're going with a forecast high of 101 in Austin here today. Yesterday, we narrowly missed out on triple digits, but we think today and especially tomorrow will do it before those numbers start to come back down again. Let me take you into your Friday, which is going to be yet another hot one. We start in the middle 70s with a few isolated 60s in the morning, but we're well into the 90s by noon tomorrow. And then we think the hottest temperatures of the month of September for us will be coming as we head through the day tomorrow, pushing for 102. So yes, the first day of fall, you think leaves, you think pumpkins, pumpkin patches and all this stuff, especially in other parts of the country, but not here. We're thinking sunshine, we're thinking sunscreen, maybe another dip in the pool on the first day of fall. You could get away with that. Highs of 101 today. The record high for today in Austin at Camp Mabry is 102, set back in 1926. So we're not going to be, we think, breaking or tying that record, but it's going to be very close, of course. If there's good news in the near term, it's that our nights aren't that warm, especially our days about 10 degrees, 11 degrees above average for this time of year. Our nights only about, say, 3-4 degrees warmer than average. So we do get some temperature relief during the nighttime hours, but then tomorrow we go back up there again to 102. So tomorrow's temperature is not only a little hotter than today, but the record for tomorrow is at 100. That's lower than today's record high, so we have a higher chance of breaking records tomorrow, which of course is the first full day of fall when we're enjoying the fall season from start to finish. There's also been some beneficial lowering of the humidity. It's still not refreshing by any means, but earlier this morning we had some parts of the hill country with the dew points in the 50s. Now those dew points have come up a bit in the 60s and 70s, which is humid, but we do expect the humidity to drop as we head through this afternoon. As the air dries out, the air will heat up. But then the humidity will start to increase again as we head into your Friday and this weekend. A more permanent drop in the humidity, at least lasting more than just a few hours, comes early next week in the form of a cold front. That one slides in, we think, Monday morning. That'll bring a big drop in the humidity and a little bit of a drop in the temperatures too. Look at the highs for the next week. 2 days in a row of triple digits. We're still in the upper 90s for the weekend. Then comes that cold front, and it helps to knock our temperatures down further. You won't notice the cold front temperature change so much on Monday. We'll still be at 95, but then the cooler, so-called cooler air starts to work in here more so for Tuesday and Wednesday. So we're looking at our first morning weather 7-day forecast. No rain in the forecast for the next week, just a lot of heat, but at least we just got to get through a couple of days of triple digits, and then, maybe then, we could say no more triple digits for the year.
Oh, summer is holding on as long as it can around here, but are there any big pattern changes? I know the cold front's arriving on Monday or so, but any other big noticeable changes coming?
So we look beyond the 7-day, and we're not seeing significant relief in forms of rain or temperatures for a while. This is basically the 2-week outlook that takes you in the 7 days beyond our 7-day forecast. So September 29th through October 5th. Good agreement there on a warmer than normal pattern. And then as far as the rainfall outlook goes, the rainfall looks drier than normal. And as we head into October, that's usually our second wettest month of the year. So that's usually a month that we get some rainfall relief, but we're not looking to get that anytime soon. Of course, the tropics could save us if we were to get a tropical system that could bring us beneficial rain, but then we'd be worried about the other impacts.
I know we've seen our first major hurricane from Hurricane Fiona that hit some of the Caribbean nations. Is there anything that's on the radar at this point that's giving points of concern for you all?
Yeah, so the latest on Fiona, Category 4 hurricane right now, and the concern with Fiona at this point is for any shipping lanes, but mainly for the island there of Bermuda. They're under a hurricane warning as the center of Fiona now looks to be a little closer. Originally it was tropical storm warning, now looking like a hurricane warning for them. You can see the center may still pass a little to the west, but close enough that wind concerns and heavy rain concerns will certainly be in place for Bermuda. As a Category 3 hurricane, that would still be a major hurricane passing just to the west of the island there. Then it heads north and becomes extratropical as it heads into Canada, which certainly could still pack a punch with winds and heavy rain there. Our main concern is less so for Fiona and more so for this area of potential development that's just south, well, quite a ways south there of Puerto Rico. It's kind of the cluster of those mixed colors there. That's some storms and cloudiness. Very disorganized at this point, but the National Hurricane Center gives it a 90% chance of becoming a tropical depression within the next 5 days. Now, a storm doesn't get its name when it becomes a tropical depression. It gets its name when it becomes a tropical storm. But we're seeing pretty good odds on that happening as well. And as for the latest track, we've been looking at some of the trends here. These lines all represent different computer models and where those computer models expect the center of what could be named Hermine to move. And you can see those lines, they start out kind of close together and then they start to spread apart. And the further away from each other those lines are, the lower your confidence is in the forecast. You like to see good agreement in where those lines are placed. The closer they are together, the more confidence you would have in the forecast. But as what could potentially become a tropical storm or Hurricane Hermine moves closer to Cuba or southwest of Cuba, those lines start to separate a bit more, which puts portions of the Gulf of Mexico in play as a potential path, but also you see that line east of Florida becoming an option as well. So a lot of different possibilities there. It's a storm we'll keep watching because it has the potential, especially if it heads into the Gulf of Mexico, of becoming a rather strong storm, but still way too early to narrow down the strength of it or the exact location of where it would go.
Of course, keeping a close watch as always, but for anybody who's just joining us, Nick, it is going to be the first day of fall officially tomorrow. It begins at 8:04 p.m. this evening, and we're starting out tomorrow with a potential for a record heat day.
Yes, we're forecasting highs today of 101. That would not break records before fall begins this evening, and then our forecast high of 102 for the first full day of fall would break records. But either way, triple digits in late September doesn't happen too often. I was doing some math earlier today, Will. We've only hit triple digits 15 times September 22nd or later. So it is not that common, but it has happened, and it's actually happened more recently over the last few years.
And we're on track to do it again.
Yeah.
All right. Meteorologist Nick Bannin, thank you for joining us. You'll be on at KXAN News at noon today, right?
At noon, and then we'll have live updates from 1 to 2 o'clock as well.
All right. Well, thank you again for joining us this morning, and we will see you again soon.
Thanks for having me.
All right, everybody. If you'd like full forecast details about the first day of fall, you can find them at KXAN.com and on the KXAN News and Weather apps. You can download them to your smartphone right now. Thank you all for watching. I'm Will DuPree in the KXAN Live Studio. We'll see you back here another time. Hope you all enjoy the rest of your day. Take care.